really appreciate y'all being here. We have a very, very exciting couple days for you. And just around the room, let me tell you, we've got in the room the yellow lanyards customers. You probably were told this morning. Green lanyards partners, and black lanyards employees. Look for those green lanyards that are involved with finance. We have a lot of very, very strong finance partners here. I was going to put a slide up here and introduce them and mention them. I would miss somebody, okay, if I did that, because there's just a bunch of them, really great partners. A couple I'll mention towards the end here, so very happy to have you here. My background, just to let you know quickly, if you look at me and go, oh, this guy with white hair has been around a little while. Yes, I have. I started in the world with minis and mainframes, and I watched in the accounting technology profession as it evolved into then microcomputers, what they used to call them back then, and that then evolved into networks, and networks evolved eventually into this need to be actually remote. So I've seen a lot of transition, and I've seen a lot of where Zoho is going. And one of the key reasons why I joined Zoho, folks, was for their vision of the future. And I'll share with you what I see of that through this particular session. So I've watched SAS 1, Gen 1. SAS 1, Gen 1 essentially was desktop products ported to the cloud. And that didn't work so well. Those of you around back there, remember, the internet couldn't handle it. First off, we had terrible internet. If I said gaboing, gaboing, some of you probably remember what gaboing, gaboing meant. Uncool, right? I mean, that was a little better connection what you had, but it was not great. Gen 2 was better. It was products designed for the cloud, kinda for the cloud, kinda. They still clinked and clanked a lot. In fact, I am a survivor of using a competitive product to Zoho for 8 years. And let me tell you, I'm a survivor of that. That was not a fun experience. Stuff did not work well at times. They often threw security checks at me when I was trying to get data off my mobile and stuff. So let me tell you about Zoho. We are really essentially Gen 3. Software carefully crafted to run and fly off the cloud, SaaS cloud, and more importantly, crafted to give you the information you need at your fingertips, as I'll show you later in the slideshow, no matter which device you're on. That was big with me. My prior company, we were users. And that's what really sold me on Zoho, to come and join Zoho and help them with their quest. What is their quest for finance? The quest is to give you a better vision of what's coming down the road. Famous quote, in the business world, the rearview mirror is always clearer than the windshield, right? You've heard this before, right? Do you realize that most all traditional financial reports are historic? In other words, they're looking back. Anybody recognize that person? He was running for president. Help me out here. Anybody know that? What is he famous for? Great Plains Software president, founder, CEO. Let me just tell you a quick story. I was at dinner with this guy, and when we say Great Plains, too, you got to kind of put your hand over your heart, right? Remember some great things back in the day. But I was at dinner with him. I was a consultant with Great Plains for many years and talked with Doug a lot. And he's sitting there at dinner, and he asked me 2 questions. First one was, when are accountants going to give up on their love of spreadsheets and start using my beautiful software, which pretty much calculates everything for them? And my answer was, they'll pry my spreadsheet from my dying hands, because we use it to calculate all kinds of stuff day in, day out, right? Am I right? Oh, yeah. Okay, the spreadsheet question was easy to answer. Next one wasn't so easy to answer. When are accountants going to start looking more forward instead of always looking in the review mirror with historical reports? I said, Doug, when you in Great Plains develop a beautiful financial forecaster that we can use, because that's what we need. We need to be able to look forward. Truth is, about a month later, he went out and bought a product called FRX Forecaster. If you know the history of that, once again, put your hand over your heart. You can't get that product anymore. It's off the market. Microsoft killed it, unfortunately. So why is Zoho going to build the most comprehensive financial platform, including looking forward? Because you got to realize we're in the long game. We're not looking to just make money tomorrow. They are in the long game. This company will never be sold. That's what I've been told by the ownership. In fact, when I was talking about joining them, one of the key owners said, Val, Zoho, you don't understand. Zoho is my family. And I said, well, if I had $1 for every time I've heard that, I'd be a rich man. And he said, no, you don't understand. The majority of my family works for Zoho. And it's very true. We don't have the same nepotism policy. Many of the people you see here actually are, in many cases, related to each other. Good people hang with good people. This is a company that is focused on family and customers and partners, right? So that's a big deal. We're going to be in this going forward so that we can eventually be the solution that all businesses look for finance. And we know we got a ways to go. We know we got some holes, okay? But here's the thing. We're not going anywhere. When I say that, what I mean by that is we're not going to sell out to anybody. There's never going to be any stockholders come in and tell us what to do. There's never going to be any venture capital or other people telling us what to do. In fact, Raju, you saw his presentation this morning? He had a really good quote that he told me. He said, Val, most companies out there, especially SaaS software, are focused on the wrong constituent. You've got owners, shareholders, customers, and employees. And he says, of those three, most companies are focused on the most disloyal group of the three, which is the owners, shareholders. He said, we're not. We are focused completely on customers and on employees. And they mean that. It's very, very true. I've been here almost 5 years now, just over 5. And I'm very pleased with what I've seen, the direction of the company, where they're going, and their long-term vision. Now, having said that, finance, now I'm not talking about Zoho in general. These numbers up here, this is just finance, okay? So the finance area we've got our 14 years out there. We've got 160 countries, special editions. I'll mention a few as we go through. Very privacy focused. In fact, some of you might not know this, but Zoho's administrators on the network on the backside of this cannot access your data. Okay, if something goes wrong, you've got to get to your data. None of our employees can see any of your data. We are extremely concerned with privacy. When you talk about GDPR, we even have privacy, essentially a privacy police group inside of Zoho. And if I'm a marketing person, a marketing director, and if I go out and I'm doing something where they feel like I'm sharing user data where I shouldn't be, they will shut down my program. And I've had a couple programs shutting down over the years. They're very serious about this privacy thing. So security and privacy are huge with finance. We are a global solution. Many of you walking in here may not even know who we were till you came to Zoholics or even heard about us a few months ago or something. We've been around a lot of years, and I think Raju and Vijay shared some of those numbers earlier today. But these are offices, and then here we have data servers. And here I'm so thrilled to see the data servers in Canada. That was a big deal for us, because in Canada they actually have government regulations requiring that they run on a data server which is physically present in their country. That's very important. So we're trying to meet all those needs, and I think you'll see a few more pop up on that map by the end of the year. They're trying to grow their server footprint. Now, behind the game here, this shows the compliance I was talking to you about, that we're meeting government specs, and we have servers in all the countries and users and everywhere, and we're kind of very, very conscious of what people need to have as compliance for their companies. Now, behind the curtains, I like to talk about this. Probably nobody so far at the Zoholics has talked about this. I always like to talk about this. Our data only runs on Managed Engine servers. Managed Engine is probably a company you don't know. They're our sister company. They're the ones running our network behind us. So there is no AWS, Azure, other people in our way. So if you think about it, there's nobody in our way except ourselves. We're not beholden to any of those other global network folks. And I brought up a bunch of their customers because I don't think you're going to recognize Managed Engine. And if you go to look at their website, by the way, you type it just like that, Managed Engine. So you got 2 E's in the middle, managedengine.com. Take a look at it, and you're going to see they have some very sophisticated customers they support. So they're very serious about security. That's who we run on almost 99% of all circumstances. The 1 or 2% is when we're out in an emerging country and we can't quite get, a Managed Engine server to reach for there. Our finance group is used by over, to be honest with you, it says 500,000, but it's more than that. Now, that's not Zoho total users. Zoho total users crossed 100 million last year. This is just finance and some of our key financial partners and users here up there in front of you now. This is Invoice, okay? Invoice was our first product. Just so you know, Invoice is a free financial product and will always be a free financial product for any user as long as they want to use it. Why? It's a very smart move by our finance executives. They made this decision way before I joined Zoho. You get somebody on Invoice and life's going really well. Guess what they're going to want to do? They're going to grow and their business is going to grow and they're going to want to be, well, they're going to look at the finance suite next here. They're going to look at like books or something else in the finance suite and say, I want to grow. For example, my prior company, actually the funny thing enough about this whole thing was the first product we used, my prior company was Zoho. We used Zoho Campaigns. That's a mail marketing tool. Competes with MailChimp. And then my partner got so enamored with that, he said, we were on SAP Concur, expense management software. And he said, Val, I think the Zoho Expense is going to be better than Concur. And I have to admit something, I actually did not agree with him, and I fought him for about 6 months on the change. And now I'm a little embarrassed about that because Zoho Expense is a star in our lineup, without question. If you haven't seen how it works, how it does, hang on, because Uni's going to come up right behind me and show you a lot of great stuff. That is a star. It's absolutely a star. Then we next moved, in my business, my prior business, we moved to CRM and was loving the integration across there. And just as I was leaving, actually coming to Zoho, they moved to Zoho Books and Zoho Finance. And I understand that's gone terribly well for them. So people can literally get Invoice free. People can license one app if they'd like to, or the whole suite. And the power in this whole thing is the fact that it's completely surrounded by our whole suite of applications. As I mentioned, my prior business, we were very excited to go to CRM, Zoho CRM. That was a really big add for us, and it was a really great change. So where are we going with all this, folks? I grew up in the world of best of breed, where a company will go out and find the best of breed products and then work on integrating them. And our argument at Zoho, and this is a wonderful direction, is instead best of suite, meaning that you don't have to do these complex integrations. Integrations are absolutely complex. They're expensive. 1 to 6 is, I think, a pretty fair number. I've seen it higher, but I think 1 to 6 is about right. What does this mean? The cost of buying the software is 1, and the cost of building the integration is about 6 times that, okay? Even worse, when you integrate stuff tends to go wrong. And there's many things to be concerned about with integrations. 3 key things. You got to really worry about your data access. Yeah, and I did the spinning thing on purpose because integrations make your head spin a little bit. Authentication tools, you got to make sure the right people are logging in. You got to make sure that you've got great integrated workflows and making sure that things are talking to each other and working well. Worst case too, and this happens more than you'd believe, it turns into this stuff. You ever been there with that? With the finger pointing back forth, this company says it's their fault, they say it's this fault. And in fact, I intentionally used kind of a blurry graphic there. Why? If you're ever caught in this situation, which I've been involved in that many times in different ways and shapes, both as a user and also an implementer back in my old firm years ago. And I'll tell you, it really does mess with your mind. Things get fuzzy, life gets tough. It's not a fun place to be. So that is our key advantage. We have the suite that is integrated together. And that's, I would say, one of the real big reasons why I joined Zoho. So instead, we continue this quest. We're going to continue down this road. And I mentioned to you earlier, we're not going anywhere. So given time, we keep adding features and functionality to this finance suite. We're going to get to a point where it may not work for you today, but a few months down the road, it may work for you, okay? Maybe a year from now, it might work for you. We've even launched country-specific editions proving we are a global solution. Kenya, Mexico, Germany. Of course, US was released a lot of years ago. So what's new this year? So what do we got coming at us this year here in the US, in this area? Well, let's talk to you a little bit about that. One of the big questions we have in our area is payroll, right? So if you know Zoho, you got to say, well, what about payroll? One of your options is Gusto. Now, we didn't build that connector. They built it to our software, and from what I hear from users, this is working well, okay? Now, I can't verify that. I have not tested it on my own or anything else. But Gusto's a pretty well-known payroll solution, and they've got the bridge to come across the Zoho books and post all the entries and work there. Now, Sure Payroll is an option for you. That one we worked in partnership with Sure Payroll. And so this link, I guarantee you works. It works pretty well. I'm sorry, it's a separate license. That's a whole different ball game. We know that, and that's why right below that, you can see Zoho Payroll. And on the screen, I tried to make that graphic as big as I possibly could, but I still wanted to use the same graphic from the website. 21 states right now. 21 states and counting. All right, and they are also working diligently on electronic reporting in states and also with the federal government. So that's what you have today. Now, do you see the question mark? I couldn't announce it today. We're not quite there yet. I think we're about 2 months off from being able to announce to you there will be a solution that will cover all 50 states well integrated into Zoho. A couple of months away from this. All right, so they are working to do that, and at the same time, now that one's going to obviously be a partnership. At the same time, they are working diligently to finish out all the states as well. So we're going to get to where we're kind of finishing everything out and going forward. So they're very well aware of this, if you will, hole in the suite. And like I say, I love that direction that they're just like, we'll get there. We're going to get there. We're going to solve this, and we're going to move this forward. So that's one of our options there, or at least kind of a bit of a challenge for us right now. What else is coming at you right now? Updates to books. We have now much better future-oriented compliance. We've got some really nice advanced analytics. In fact, if you get a chance while you're here, see if you can get a chance in your schedule to sit down, at least see a demo or something of Zoho Analytics. For years, I was actually a teacher. We did a lot of CP presentations, and we were out training on Power BI. How many of you have ever seen Power BI, right? So cool stuff it'll do. All right, our Zoho Analytics, in my opinion, competes toe-to-toe with Power BI. It allows you to grab data from almost anywhere, integrate almost any database from anywhere, as well as, of course, online link and pull data from Zoho Books. So you've got direct financial integration. You've got the ability to pull stuff from almost anywhere. You've got, once again, it's another star. It just doesn't happen to be technically included in the finance suite, or I'd have a slide on it and be talking to you and showing to you. Analytics is a great future direction. You accountants that are in here, I guarantee you that's the next gen of like client service, is using analytical tools to look at their finance and see where, try to give them an idea of where things are going. We have advanced inventory management coming at you, an upgrade there. We now have our multi-currency upgraded and working very, very well. As well as we have a nice little cash flow forecaster in there, looking forward. Now, it's not a really advanced FRX style forecaster like I mentioned Great Plains had and whatnot, but I'd say this, it's good. All right, and guess what's going to happen as we go down the road? That's the question mark there. It's going to get better and better and better. In fact, I had a very deep discussion with one of the Zoho executives about where are we going with forecasting tools. Hint, hint, I think you will see sooner or later, a Zoho forecaster in the plans. That'll do a lot more complex forecasting. What about taxes, Val? This partnership, they will claim on their website that this partnership is done. You'll see their logo at the bottom of the website. It's not done yet, but we are working diligently on it. And we have been working on this for a while, but this got relit up big time by one of their owners of this company, owner investors, and I think this is going to happen. Now let me explain this. This is a trial balance product. It's a very good trial balance product. It's well designed. I know that because my partner from my prior company is one of the owners, and he's the guy that lit this back up and got them going on this and get this done. What is it? We want them to integrate to us directly. So you could take Zoho Books, accountants, take Zoho Books, push the data over to Tally4, make a few adjusting entries that you need to do, and Tally4 already directly feeds Intuit Pro Series, Lacert, UltraTax, Wolters Kluwer Access, and Drake. So those are all the professional tax products that they feed already. Once we have this bridge done, which I think by the end of the year, because it doesn't matter that much right now, once we have the bridge done by year end, which I think it will be done, next tax season we'll have something to really help us take data right out of Zoho books and comply with U.S. tax law. Corporate and individual taxes will be able to feed that across right there and help us take care of taxation issues. So not there yet, coming soon to a theater near you. And this is one we're certainly staying on top of. Practice. We released Practice last fall. This is really for those who have clients on Zoho Books and others, and this allows them to manage. The key thing is it allows them to manage logins from staff to clients, as well as keep track of client data and access client data much easier than what we've ever done before. And that's very important because what our accountant consultants were doing is they literally had to share their own login at times with their staff, which wasn't good, and now this will kind of get us around that. As well as it is a very good start at a practice manager for those running and those in practice of whatever sort. I have seen very advanced practice management tools out there for years. This is a good, very good start. I'll be very honest with you. This is not advanced, okay? This is a very good start, though. Where do you think we're going given time, right? We're going to go down the road and we'll keep adding features to this to where we become very serious in the industry, competing with bigger firms and bigger solutions. So practice is a big thing for us. That's a real nice announcement, great tool. I need to mention this too. I hope I'm not misstating this. So Nathan, correct me if I get this wrong. If you are in public practice and you have clients, we can get you practice and some of the Zoho software for you to run for free for at least 3 years, right? And I think it includes like books, practice, inventory, expense, anyway, yada, yada. Come talk to us. We'll see if we can kind of hook you up with that and for sure give you a test bed to play with, but I'd love to see you use in practice and give us more feedback. That would be really, really cool. Zoho Subscriptions is now called Zoho Billing. Why did they change it? Because it's not just subscriptions. Even if you got to sit down one time really quick, get a bill out, this is designed to sit down, take a picture of work you've done, like if you're field service or whatever, take a picture, send a bill, boom, 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 done. And that'll post over to your Zoho Books, your Zoho Finance, and take care of things. So they've really upgraded what was Zoho Subscriptions. They have added a lot more reports. They have handled them allowing upselling and cancellations with great reports, and also the ability, this is one of the ones like Zoho Expense that is so strong on the mobile, that you're able to do a lot from the mobile, because a lot of people need to be able to pull out their phone and send a bill, or pull out their phone and check on payments, or pull out their phone and do this or that. And this really works well. So look for this if you're interested in a particular billing area. Like I say, it's not subscriptions anymore, and very often we get caught saying the wrong thing. Zoho Billing. Inventory. Big time inventory upgrade. It's right around the corner. Right around the corner. We have serial number batch tracking. We have a number of key things that have been asked for. I think it does a decent job at costing. Okay, I still need to kind of see if it is what I consider in my mind a full work in process or WIP costing model. I checked with our inventory group like this morning just to make darn sure I could say this. Yes, bin location will be in the next release. Now, when do I anticipate this release? My guess here. Probably early fall, okay? I want to give them a little bit of time. They're working very diligently on this. And this is a complex area. And I guarantee you, no matter how deep we go, for some companies, it's not going to be deep enough, so they're going to have to reach again and reach again. And the inventory area is one, and some of you know this because you have industry-specific inventory solutions that go way deep. You know, it's going to take us a while to catch up to that depth, but once again, we're not going anywhere. We'll keep doing and adding and fixing here as we go along. So inventory, big upgrade coming down the road. Expense, nice upgrades. They've got a number of nice little things they've done coming at you. And, you know, I was like surprised to even have a slide on expense because they're already so well supported, well done. You know, I use it all the time, used it in my prior business. This is a star. Like I mentioned, I'll say that a couple different times here. Zoho Expense is just absolutely terrific and a wonderful product in our lineup. In fact, this one actually does go, we have a few products that go into enterprise big time right now. And that's one of them. CRM is one, Zoho Expense is one, Zoho Analytics is another one. I mean, there's a number of them, but enterprise love that because they can not only save money, but their people are more productive with the Zoho Expense. Commerce. We have a nice session coming up on commerce today. Commerce allows you to go from nothing to building an online store in not very much time at all. And the great news with commerce is once you get all that done, you're tied back to the Zoho Finance Suite if that's what you desire to do. So a pretty intuitive, easy way to get a lot of your stuff laid out and done easily, quickly in our SaaS solution here. Now, where are we going with this stuff? We have kind of 4 pillars of development at Zoho, especially when it comes to finance. First one, consumer grade UI. First time I saw that term, I picked up the phone and I contacted one of my colleagues that sent me the slides, and I said, hey, I'm not a fan of this consumer grade UI thing. And she said, okay, Val, let me explain this. Because to me, if I said, hey, I'm giving you a consumer grade candy bar, right? I think it kind of sounds like average. To me, it sounds like average, common, whatever. And she said, no, let me explain it. She said, what we try to do with this term is we try to make sure no matter which device, and I mentioned this earlier in the session, whichever device you pick up, you go to look at Zoho data that you can A, get to it quickly, B, understand the interface on any device you go to. So our apps scale to whatever device you're on very quickly. And you can use this across all these multiple devices. Like I said, I was a survivor of another competitive product, ours, for like 8 years. And I swear to you folks, almost every time I went to my mobile and tried to grab data quickly as I was going to meet with a client or somebody, I could never get the data. And I was so frustrated. So I was so thrilled when we finally went to Zoho Solutions and I could get to data quickly. This UI shines. People who don't know it, never touched Zoho before in their lives, can learn it quickly. We believe they can learn it quickly, and it's easy to understand in my opinion, and it moves very quick as well, no matter which device you're on. Our other core of Zoho that really makes a big difference for us, contextual collaborations. No matter where you are in the entire Zoho suite of software, especially in the finance area, and a problem arises, a question arises, whatever, and you've got questions between team members, and this could be anywhere in the entire Zoho suite, not just finance, anywhere in the entire Zoho suite. You need to reach out and communicate with somebody. You can use audio, video, and literally be on the deal. So for example, you could be in looking at a balance in accounts receivable and saying, wait a minute, so-and-so was supposed to call these people. They had a task assigned. Somebody had a task assigned here to call these people and follow up on payment here, and it's not happening. So I'm going to get out there with the audio, video, and also a snippet of the task that they're ignoring, and I'm going to talk to them and say, hey, what are you doing? Why aren't you taking care of this? And I can right there also log what's going on back in the system. So it gives you just a quicker way to connect. All right? Stuff is right there for you to use. We use that internally. And I got to tell you, it's some days you're like, oh, really? I wish I was not this well connected. And some days you're like, no, it's really helpful that I'm connected that way. Our other connections upstream and outside are deep, and we are not stopping here. All right, we know that there are many other connections that we need. Okay? In fact, we had a bit of a vision given to our team. We were over in India in January and talking with a bunch of the Zoho folks over there, and one of the finance executives came in and spent some time with us and shared with us his vision of where they're going with all these connections and the future of Zoho and finance. And when he got done, I leaned over to my associate Nathan and I was like, holy cow. And then I had to ask the question. I said, is this like a 5-year plan? Because where they're going, folks, they know where they're going. And trust me, you're going to be thrilled with what they're doing. All right? I can't share with it what it is, but I can tell you they've figured out where they need to be and where they're going. And I asked him, and I said, is this a 5-year plan? And he said, no, there's more like a 2-year plan, Val. If they pull off what he laid out to us in the next 2 years, wow, what would I have to do up here? That could be scary. Maybe I won't promise that. Anyway, it's going to be very good. So we know we got a bunch of connections missing. In fact, I was at dinner the other night talking to some of our group that was here, and one of our key people shared with me a partnership they're working on right now, kind of help us close the gap. And I'm so excited. I hope they get that done like before the end of the year. That one you would know, and I can't mention it, and it would be absolutely terrific. Okay? So they're not asleep. They're very well focused. They're very determined now to bring this finance suite forward and do a lot of really cool stuff. Customer centric, yes. You've maybe already seen this. We have a customer portal. We do many things to try to make sure that customers using Zoho products can easily communicate with each other and also upstream with their accountants and other folks that are part of the organization. So the customer portal, the customer user interface, all the customer stuff, this is all good. Security and compliance, I'm very proud of. In fact, if you're an accountant, you understand and probably have heard of SOC 2. SOC 2 is a very high certificate. To be honest with you, I don't think I've ever seen a SOC. There is a level SOC 3, and honestly, I've never seen a SaaS company get SOC 3. SOC 3 is generally governmental contractors, people like that, and whatever. We are very well secured, and we have a number of security certifications. I've had people say, well, Zoho's not a secure platform. It's about as secure as I've ever seen anything, folks, without question. So we've got that working for us. I'll close up with 2 things here. 2 happy customers. Both of these people are not only customers, but they're also partners. Now, so you know who you can talk to. The accounting lab. They're doing a lot with Zoho. Over 30 apps they use internally, and they're also migrating and moving a lot of their customers' clients to Zoho Books as we speak, and we're still working out a few details there because some of them are coming from some real legacy systems that we're trying to deal with. Another one I want to introduce you to, Cloverdale Group. They're both a user of Zoho Solutions, and their claim to fame in this situation is really cool. Zoho Inventory doesn't quite do it for them in their specific industry. So they've reached out and they have well integrated Zoho Financial, Zoho Books, back into their industry-specific inventory and also like ShipStation and a few other cool things. Really a nice example of we may not solve everything for you, but you can get integrations into key industry solutions where you need it. So a couple of happy customers for you to talk to, and we'll stay out of the way. And I am very happy to talk to any of you in the hallway at any time. Thank you.